This is India Global. We now turn our attention to the big story coming in from the US with less than a week to go before a possible social media TikTok ban that could take place in the US. Reports have emerged that Chinese officials are evaluating a potential option that involves Elon Musk acquiring the US operations of TikTok if the company fails to fend off a controversial ban on the short video app. But that's what reports seem to indicate. Beijing officials strongly prefer that TikTok remains under the ownership of parent ByteDance, and the company is contesting the impending ban with an appeal to the US Supreme Court. But in the event, however, TikTok has denied reports of a possible sale to the Tesla chief, calling it pure fiction. Supreme Court justices are due to rule on a law that set a 19 January deadline for TikTok to either sell its US operations or face a ban in the country. Now, how will this change? How will this change the tech landscape in the US? What happens to Elon Musk? Is he in favor of taking? Remember, he took X, and now will he now take TikTok? And what will that mean for the billionaire's ambitions as far as social media are concerned? Let's get in Jasprit Bindra, who's the founder of Tech Whisperer, joining me from the UK. Good to have you, Jasprit, on the show. And talk to us about the impact, if at all, Elon Musk goes ahead and buys TikTok in the US.
Thanks, Gauri. Good to be here. If it was not Elon Musk, I think everyone would have believed the pure fiction part of it. But Musk has a way of coming in and surprising all of us. So maybe all of this is true, though at this point of time, I do think that there's a lot of speculation happening more than fact. If it does happen, however, two or three things. One is the fact that I think Musk, if he takes this, will combine X and TikTok to create a super big, super powerful social media platform. I think TikTok in the US is bigger than X. It's valued at about $45–50 billion today, which is a little more than what X was. And so it makes something really, very big. Two, however, the uncertainty behind all of this is that the secret sauce of TikTok is not the content. The secret sauce of TikTok is the algorithm powering it. And this algorithm is clearly ByteDance's property. And so even if it takes TikTok, will the algorithm come with it? Or will the algorithm still stay with ByteDance and with China? So we don't know how that will play out. And I don't think anyone will want to pay that kind of money without that algorithm. And China and ByteDance are not going to part with that algorithm. Three and final is that one is not sure, even if Musk wants TikTok, what he wants it for. Does he want to, expand his personal megaphone for both, social and political reasons? Or is he really looking for a profit motive? In X, it's pretty clear now that it wasn't really the revenue or the profit motive as much as leveraging it to, for his own political and messaging end. So I think those are the three things that would be quite interesting to look at in this whole Musk TikTok story.
Absolutely. And Jasprit, to think from Elon Musk's point of view, the value proposition of an X or of a TikTok is just that it allows him to be able to pursue his quasi-political ambitions that, of course, feed into his business interests. Having said that, where do you see TikTok's options in the event that it doesn't have a favorable verdict from the US Supreme Court?
Well, we sometimes forget that we used to have TikTok in India, and it was super, super popular, right? And one day it went away. And sure, there was some angst over it and, a bit of a hue and cry over it, but we adjusted, we continue to live with it. And it's not just because we are in India. India is a great example for social networks because it's actually number one or number two in almost every social network out there. And so if a country like India can do without a social media going away, a social media network, then I guess in the US, it's also people will live with it. From a ByteDance viewpoint, I think the options are tricky because they would want to continue having TikTok in the US. It's a huge revenue market. But then, what do they do with the algorithm? And as I said before, the secret sauce of TikTok is the algorithm, not the content. And how do they manage to kind of keep the algorithm within the Chinese TikTok walls, if it Chinese bite down walls, if it may, but yet use that for the US without both the governments getting antsy about it. I think that is the key question. And if they cannot solve for that, then I don't see any other possibility except TikTok shutting down in the US.
All right, we leave it there. Jaspreet Brindra, appreciate you taking out the time to really decode what could be a very big story in the technology landscape in the US.